Suddenly, your world changes. You're in a place you never imagined. You don't feel like yourself anymore. You feel alone, but you're not. Other people with spinal cord injuries know exactly what you're going through because they've been there themselves. They're the voices of experience, and they can help you get through this. Right after a spinal cord injury, it's hard to know what to expect. Here's what these people wish they had known at the beginning.
I wish I would have automatically just had known that I was always going to be myself. I don't know what I thought that the wheels were going to dramatically do to me, but I just wish that I would have known that the things that I enjoyed before and the way that I was before, it was all going to be the same. I would just have to go about things in a different way.
I wish I'd known someone else that was in a wheelchair. I think it's very difficult to live your life and suddenly find yourself in a wheelchair and not really know anyone else to talk to about it. I had no friends or know anyone else that I really knew that was in a wheelchair, and that was difficult in the beginning.
I wish I had known that things are really still all up to me and I can still live my life on my terms. You know, that there's a way around most things if you look hard enough. I remember I don't think anyone expected me to move out anytime before 10 years, and after a year I was ready to go. So I wish I had known that I still had all my choices, which I know now, but I might have gotten moving quicker.
If I would have known then what I know now, I probably wouldn't. I would have been a lot more frugal with what money I had saved. Maybe paid off my house or something like that, than what I did do with the money.
I guess I wish I knew that I was going to live on for 35 years plus. But I guess I felt early on that there wasn't much of a future, or I didn't know what kind of a future there was. So that fed into depression. What was the point? It's not. And, that's not the case anymore.
I wish there was more education or knowledge about how to transition from such a catastrophic event to going home and you don't have nurses and doctors around 24 hours. You don't have psychologists and people to talk to on hand. And that was just, I wish I would have known how traumatic that was. My mom was there, but physically she wasn't able to do a lot of the things that the nurses and doctors were able to do.
I think the whole process, if you can do it without any drugs, that's great. But if you have to have drugs, and I seem to have them, don't be afraid to take them. Because a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to get hooked on drugs and have to take them the rest of my life. Because that's really not what it is. You'll take things and then it'll work, hopefully forever for you. But if not, you'll stop taking something and maybe start taking something else. So I'd say don't be afraid to take the drugs, because they are very helpful.
I wish I had known how critical that skin care was, and that everything that happens to your skin can be prevented if somebody's watching over it, and what to do to prevent sores from happening, because it is preventable. It is totally preventable. And it wasn't, and I really had a disastrous time with it. Disastrous.
So I wish I had known that everything was going to keep getting easier, and that at times when I felt like things weren't getting better and I felt like I had reached some sort of plateau and that was going to be it and I was not going to get any better than I was, that wasn't true. And I wish I had known that I was going to keep learning to do new things, and that even years and years down the road things were going to continue to get easier, and I was going to continue to get more independent and not to worry so much about getting stuck somewhere and not getting better, to know that that's not really a concern. As long as you keep working, you'll keep learning to do new things.
If anything, I wish I would have known that recovery is, it happens. It would have saved me a lot of stress and grief if I knew that I'd actually be able to, function and continue pursuing my dreams and living the life that, not necessarily the life I, imagined for myself, but some form of a life that I want. That I still would have that freedom to pursue it. If I had known that from the beginning, that would have saved me a lot of stress.
I wish I had known that surviving the trauma, the incident, was going to be the easy part. It's what comes after. That's the hard part. And I wish I had known that.
At the start, when I wasn't even able to even hold the telephone, getting a drink of water, everything, it becomes like this major obstacle, that's all. But if you continue to see them in that way, that's what they're going to become to you. It's going to lead to depression, headaches, frustration. And on the other hand, once I started picking up a cup, I started grabbing the phone, I started grabbing the remote control. It made things so much easier for everybody. But I think it all starts with having patience, accepting your disability, and making the best of it.
I wish I would have known about a couple of different programs that was out there for me that I didn't have a clue about until other peer mentors came and told me years later that this was in existence. I didn't know about things like that.
I wish I'd have known that there were other kids just like me in communities out there going through what I'm going through. I wish they were there. I wish that they brought these kids to me or showed them, because the only place I saw them was at the hospital. And when I went home, I saw none of them. And I felt alone. And I just felt that I'm the only one. And I really wish that I saw more kids like me. And that would have gave me a sense of normality a whole lot quicker.
Oh, goodness. In the beginning, I wish that I would have known how to raise kids sitting down and rolling all the time. This was pre a lot of internet and a lot of Google searches. This is, the early 90s, and there wasn't a lot of community support. And so I kind of had to figure out things on my own.
I know clearly that as soon as I connected other people who were having the same experience as me, the better it became. We refer to it here as been there, done that. So as soon as I was able to hang out with been there and done that and have leg bag jokes and have spasm jokes and have quad jokes and stuff like that, the sooner I was able to connect with that, the better things got.
That there's a future right away. Some people may think that, oh my God, this is the end of everything, and it's not.
I wish that I had known from the get-go of my spinal cord injury that strangers would come up to you constantly, and the first question they ask is, what's wrong with you? And the second one is, can you have sex? Complete strangers, all the time. So I would say be mindful of that. Think of how you're going to respond, because it will happen all the time. And keep in mind that these are teaching moments, even when you don't want to tell somebody all your business. And you don't have to tell anybody. Figure out the answer you're comfortable with, but have some kind of response on hand that you can throw out, because it's going to happen all the time.
I think the challenge of dealing with a disability has made my life good. If it had all been handed to me, I don't think I'd be where I am now. And I'm in a very good place now.
If there's something that's been really, really important to me, I've been able to find a way to do it. You know, your problem-solving skills are going to get totally fine-tuned. You need to be knowledgeable about resources, and you need to be a good advocate for yourself. You know, and interestingly enough, I sometimes get comments from my non-disabled colleagues about, you know, that I have good self-advocacy skills that they don't because of living with disability. So that would be, I guess that would be what I wish I would have known from the beginning.
I'm a peer support, and what I do is I go in patients' rooms and I say, well, could be your future, and no one wants to hear that because everybody wants to walk. And I don't really know if there's anything you could say to someone who's nearly first injured to say, well, it's going to get easier, it's going to get better, because the truth of the matter is it will be, but it's going to be hard at first. So I think that if I could tell anybody anything, it would just be trust the process. Just trust it.
Voices of experience. They know. They've lived it. To watch and download the 10-part series, go to facingdisability.com/Voices of Experience videos.